Coach Teresa Ford here, and this is the Guiding You Home podcast. This is a thought-provoking and often humorous approach to moving you closer to the only one who can genuinely help you live a life of abundance and prosperity. Sound good? Yeah, it's you that needs to go within so you can sit in the driver's seat of your life, co-creating with God. So make room for more light and knowledge. As you continue to listen, you will discover elements of how to lead with your inner light, how to act on your specific promptings, and how to follow your spiritual intuition so you can fulfill the measure of your creation. Thanks for being here, and let's dive in. Welcome. I'm so glad you're back. It's important for you to keep seeking out truth. And when you come back home to yourself, when you are guided by your inner guidance system and your God, you're in a good spot. Now, as you sift and sort some of these things that we talk about, such as why life has been hard for you, you're going to have to go on an inward journey to check to see what you're doing or not doing that is either helping you or not helping you find your center. And the only reason life gets hard for us is because we avoid, we are distracted, we are just busy in the chaos of life, coming and going, all the doing that is necessary for us to live. Okay, so let's talk specifically about emotional freedom. This is my favorite topic. I don't know why it's taken me like 45 episodes to get into my favorite topic, but I love talking about emotional freedom because nothing else matters after that. And emotional freedom, you would think it would be like spiritual freedom or physical freedom or something like that, where you can set yourself free from the obstacles that hold you back. But emotional freedom, man, when we are in the chaos of what's not going well, nothing else is really going right. Like we're not doing the thing we came here to do. So emotional freedom, the reason that has been hard for you to find is because of distractions, because of avoiding, because you have been doing anything and everything but facing feelings head on. Now look, feelings are just who we are. We're very emotional beings. We're spiritual beings, and we're mental beings, and we're physical beings. Like there's a whole lot of us going on at one time. And when you have a thought that is it's a mental thought that is coming from either fear or love. If it's coming from fear, we get a negative emotion. That's the response. That's the outcome. If we have a positive or loving on the good side, the meaning of what we thought about is on the good side. Good things are coming. I'm excited about it. We get that kind of feeling inside. So, listen close. When you have negative emotion, stop everything. Like that thing that's in you is yours. You get to keep that until you are done with it. And then you can say, thank you next. You were my greatest teacher. Thank you so much for teaching me. Now, this is the part that's tricky, because when you are like, oh, this is anger in me. I'm so angry is what your brain says. The meaning of anger is like, that's not safe. So it's coming from fear, not love. The emotion is, resentment or revenge or, sadness, being hurt, victimized. But if you can just take anger and stick it out where you can see it, it's no longer in the dark. We're no longer hiding that part of us that we wouldn't want other people to see. Like how we behave behind closed doors is probably not something we want aired in public. So if we're all angry and we're yelling at people, let me just tell you a story. I was a young mom, super frustrated, had no clue how to handle it. I was just like being my mother, which was not a good thing, and I was in a very bad spot. Somebody called me on the phone. This is when the phones were hooked to the wall. They called me on the phone, and that I was like, oh, hang on just a sec. I'm going to have to go find that thing that you need information about. Put the phone on the counter. And in the meantime, I had a bowl of full milk and Cheerios hit the floor by one child and another child screaming for a drink of water. Like, back then, that just sent my nervous system through the roof. I was like, I'm losing my mind, and this was like well into the day. This was, I was already ready for, nap time, and I'm not talking about the children. I was losing my mind, and I lost it. I don't remember what I said. I just remember it's not something I would have wanted anyone to think about me and how I was behaving. And when I remembered that the receiver was open, I went back. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And they had hung up. Because, and this was somebody I knew. This was not like just a spam call. And this was somebody I actually respected, who I wanted to think good of me. And I felt so much shame about that I was yelling at my children for being children. They were just doing their childish things, but it just kind of all went to hell in a handbasket when the phone rang, which is typical, right? You're either in the bathroom as a mom or you're on the phone as a mom, and everybody loses their minds. And so this was not a proud moment. I was very distraught for a very long time that I had that kind of anger in me, that kind of emotional chaos in me. And I was like, this is not how I thought I would be a mother. This is not how I would behave as a mother. I was going to enjoy my children. I was going to have fun. We were going to laugh and play and be silly together. Like, that was my idea of being a mother. And at this particular time, I was not in a good place. I just lost my shiz really fast, right then and there. And I completely forgot someone else was listening, which is kind of an interesting idea, right? That we make life hard because we are two people. Whatever's happening behind closed doors and what we put out there for the public to see, which you might say to yourself, well, doesn't everybody do that? Like, what's wrong with, not showing your worst self in public? It's like, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just if we can get closer to being the same person behind closed doors as we are out in public, we're going to be in that peaceful, harmonic place where we just go with the flow of life. We're not going to be, oh, hi to everybody in public and behind closed doors, right? There's a split in us, and it's not harmonious. It's not good. So emotional freedom is learning to bring those two things together quickly. And when I say quickly, I mean shift emotionally, shift mentally, shift the meaning mentally quickly. So I'm not talking about the time and space that it's going to take to rewire and retrain your brain to do this. I'm just saying, first of all, it is simple. It's not fast. It's simple how you do this. But to obtain emotional freedom, let me tell you what it does do for you. Emotional freedom means that you no longer are matching other people's negative energy. And it also means that you become uninterested in being around negative energy. It also means that you go free in your thoughts. Like, your thoughts there are boundaries for your thoughts, so that you're not breaking boundaries. We talk about boundaries as in, how we keep other people in line, according to us. Yeah. Boundaries are also to keep you in line with you. So you see somebody that you would normally have participated in negative energy with. Like, I did that. My kids disintegrated, Cheerios are on the floor and we need a drink of water. Everyone's crying. Guess what I did? I did exactly the same thing. I was like a 3-year-old with my 3-year-olds, so when we do that with a spouse, they start getting huffy and puffy, and then all of a sudden you're right there, huffy and puffy. It's like, wow, are we having fun yet? How about now? Emotional freedom sets you free from that. You start to have boundaries. It's like, you know what? You're having a hard time. I'm not participating in that. That doesn't mean that you need them to stop. It doesn't mean that you need to control them. It doesn't mean that they have to stop having feelings of their own. They're entitled to them. But it does mean that you're like, but I don't want those kind of feelings. I'm choosing not to go where you are going. And it's okay if they go there. That's the point of emotional freedom, is not, I need you to change so I can feel better. That's codependency. That's not emotional freedom. Emotional freedom is noticing that they're going to a negative space and you're not going with them. And you're not mad about it. You're just like, I choose something else for myself right now. I think I'm going to go have a snack. So the whole idea behind emotional freedom is that you are working through the process of noticing what you're thinking about, which in the spirit world, everything travels at the speed of thought. So we think things a million times more, like the number of thoughts we have, there's a million of those more. Million might be a big exaggeration. We have many, many thoughts we're not even aware of. Many, many thoughts. But the one that we can identify that's associated with the emotion we have is probably the closest one and the only one we really need to identify. And as soon as you're like, oh, there's anger, oh, there's betrayal, there's bitterness, there's resentment, there's fear, there's worry, there's helplessness, there's hopelessness. When you can say, that's what's in me, that one I felt that. Here's the thing, is we are always looking outside of ourselves saying, you made me feel that way. Especially in a marriage, in a relationship, an intimate relationship, where you're like, oh, I need you to listen to me and hold space for my feelings. It's like, that would be very hard to do. And there's some codependency in there, because what we're actually saying is, I need you to do the work for me that I am unwilling to do for myself. Can you hear that? There's so many people that's like, well, we went to couples therapy and the therapist said, my husband needs to listen to me more. If he doesn't have the capacity to listen, to understand, and not be emotionally moved into a negative space listening to you complain about something, how is he really supposed to do that? But you can go to a place within you where you are emotionally stable and you can discuss a problem, but it doesn't turn into, I need you to hold space for my sadness, for my victimhood, for my childhood wounds. Like, our spouses are not our therapists. So in this idea that to set yourself emotionally free, you have to take this thing you would never want anyone to see about you, this thing that comes up where you're maybe spiteful or maybe you're jealous, and we have to take it and own it and go, oh, pulling that jealousy out of me, there it is. Oh my gosh, look at that, I'm jealous. Jealousy was in me. It's not who I am. It just was in me. And there it is, and I'm holding it out in the light, so it's no longer darkness in me, and I can look at it and turn it around and go, do I need jealousy? Is there a reason why I would need jealousy in order to be my higher self? I guarantee 1,000% no. Because you are nothing but light and love. And every time you participate in jealousy, participate in bitterness, participate in resentment, you disintegrate. You're in that lower vibrational state of who you actually are. You're so far from love and light. That doesn't mean you can't move back there quickly. That doesn't mean that you can't get from that low vibrational state back into your higher self that fast, at the speed of thought. I guarantee you can. You can be like, oh my gosh, I'm jealous. Oh my gosh, wouldn't the higher self in me want that person to do well, to have the best, to get into that thing that they need to experience more in order for them to grow? Like, if somebody's heading in a bad direction, you can also look at that as the best thing that's ever happened to them, because it's like, you know what? If they're going towards that toxic relationship, they're going to learn a lot about what they don't want, and it will help them choose something better for themselves. Do you have to get all uptight and upset and worried and fearful about what they're about to do with their free agency? Or can you find that fear and worry, put them out here in the light and just go, gosh, fear and worry, are you helping me help this person I love? Are you helping me find a solution in light and love, that higher part of me? Am I operating from the highest parts of me in order to help this person that I love? If the answer is no, then you don't need worry and fear. You just be like, no thank you, and no thank you. get rid of them. Sometimes we are very thrifty. Sometimes we're very thrifty. We're like, well, I'll get rid of most of the fear, but I'm going to hang on to a little and stick it in my back pocket just in case I need it later. I might need to worry later. It's kind of funny how we hang on to that negative emotion, the darkness, that if there's darkness in us, it's taking up space where light could be. Negative energy is the holding place for all dis-ease in the body. You hold on to enough anger in your body, it will find a home. It's going to find a home and hang out there until you get some discomfort and dis-ease going on. But if you can just, instead of avoiding anger or whatever your emotion is, whatever the negative emotion is, you could just not store it in your body for a second, just bring it out of darkness and into the light. Just look at it. It's not going to hurt you. It's not killer anger. It's just a little bit of anger. And just be like, do I need that anger? Maybe I don't need that anger. Maybe I could live a pretty good life without that anger. And if I get rid of the anger, then what have I got? What are my choices after I get rid of anger? Kind of an interesting idea. What would you do if you didn't have like emotional chaos going on inside of you? And the other half of this is that your nervous system just thinks that emotional chaos is normal. So you're just in fight or flight, ready for freeze and fawn. You're like, who's going to harm me next? Where do I need to protect myself? The answer is you don't actually need protection. You're safe. All is well. But if you're unrooted, where safe and wellness are in your root chakra, if you're unrooted, then your nervous system is rattled to some degree, probably in the fight or flight range. But if that's all that we've ever experienced, it's normal to watch out for that person to gaslight us, or watch out for that person to be snarky, or watch out for that gossip and backbiting to happen. If that's normal in your world, then you're probably always in fight or flight. That's a very tough place to be. And you have emotional chaos, not emotional freedom. If you want to set yourself free, you're going to want to rest and digest nervous system. You want to learn to re-regulate your nervous system. You want to learn not to participate in problems. You want to stay neutral when energy in the room takes a nosedive. You want to stay present with yourself, holding boundaries about I'm not going to participate in that, and I'm not going to allow myself to think those controversial thoughts, or I'm not going to participate in the doubting energy of what people think is wrong in the world. When you choose to not have that in your life, guess what? You're going to have to get used to a new normal. I read something the other day that said your nervous system will choose a familiar hell over an unfamiliar heaven. I was like, oh yeah, yes, 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 that is so true. If what has always been familiar to you is emotional chaos, you'll choose that every time, and you don't even know you're doing it. You just end up with friends that are like that. You end up in a workplace environment that's like that. You end up in a relationship that's like that. You end up going out to lunch with friends who are just like that. But when you put your foot down, you're like, you know what? I'm all done. I need peace. I need harmony. I want nature. I want friendliness. I want ease in my life. You're going to want to get rid of emotional chaos and set your freaking self free. Emotional freedom means that you're at peace, and you'll be like, what in the world will I do without problems? Don't worry. It's not as simple as just saying, all I want is peace. It's not. We are complicated individuals and human beings. But what does happen is your brain's like, oh, but there is a problem, and I'm going to find it, and I'm going to blow it up and make it, monumental. But your heart, your inner soul, your inner guidance system is not about that. And so you will be at odds within yourself. Your brain's like gossiping about other people or participating in negative energy, and your soul is like, oh, okay, well, we'll just be over here when you're ready to have some peace and harmony. So it's not fast, but it's simple. You have to be unavailable for the familiar chaos. And then it's going to take time and practice. Every time a situation comes up and you're like, oh, there's that chaos again. And there I am participating in it again. And oh my gosh, there I am blowing up the world in my mind about how I feel about something that's going on out there. Then you got to rein it in. It's like, but I didn't sign up for that. I decided I wanted something different in my life, right? Right? Check with yourself, right? Self, right? And then you go do the different thing. And the different thing is letting go of whatever that is that's causing that negative chaos in you, and name it. Name it. Put it in the light. Roll it around. Check it out. Disassociate who you are with that negative emotion, and then talk your way through. Do I need this negative emotion? What's it trying to teach me? Because your negative emotions, that's the shadow in you. They are your greatest teachers. If you have betrayal, you've identified betrayal. You put betrayal up here in the light. What is betrayal trying to teach you? It's trying to teach you to disconnect from all those things that you thought were in your future, that you thought were true because someone else said so, that you thought was going to last forever. And get rid of those ideas, because they're not true. If it was true, it would feel good. But betrayal, good old betrayal, it's trying to teach us to go get a second opinion. Where's that second opinion going to come from? That's your conversation with God. That's you and God figuring this out. You're the team. That's where truth is. You can receive personal revelation for yourself. You can receive personal inspiration. Your intuition is going to tell you what's right. And I don't mean your brain that's like, they're wrong, I'm right. I'm talking about the yes in your body when something is better for you. So that's where you get your clarity, is when you go to the inner guidance system, right? Guiding you home to you is about you. Go find out what truth is for you. So if betrayal is cropping up in your life and you're like, okay, what is betrayal trying to teach me? It's trying to teach you to let go of all these other belief systems that other people taught you, or that you believe was going to last forever, like anything is never allowed to shift. And I know betrayal can be very painful. Very, very, very painful. But if you just back up on how painful it is and just say, okay, what would you have me teach? What would you teach me? What would you have me learn from this if I feel betrayal on such a high level? Give it time, because there's grief, there's loss, there's other negative emotions playing into that scenario. There's anger, sadness, bewilderment, blindsidedness. There's a lot of stuff going on, right, when betrayal's there. So it's not as simple as saying, oh, okay, betrayal, I see you, now go away. No. You have to process it, but you have to do this over the course of time. There's no time limit on how long it takes to process something as heavy as betrayal or grief or loss or any of those other negative emotions. But it is important that you get it out into the light, get it out of darkness, get it out of your body, and out where you can look at it and turn it around and journal about it and meditate on it and ask, what would you have me learn? Because you are my greatest teacher. 100%. It's not even like 90%. It's 100% of the time. If you will allow negative emotion to teach you what you're here to learn, you will transform from the old you to the new you, from the low you to the high you. That is your opportunity to get rid of darkness in your body and come into the light. Let the light fill those empty places where darkness used to live. But the only reason life has been hard for us is because we don't do that kind of work. We're like, I don't know what to do with betrayal. I'm just going to be mad for the rest of my life. Some people never get out of it. But you're here. You're listening. Something that has been said resonated with you through your intuition, through your inner guidance system, through your ability to receive personal inspiration. and personal revelation. And when it hits, it's the thing that you are ready to hear. It's the thing you need to act on. It's the thing you need to journal about a little more, meditate on, contemplate. It's the thing for you. So whatever you were hearing in this short period of time that we've spent together, I want you to go back and it's like, when was the last time I was angry? When was the last time I was upset? When was the last time someone frustrated me? When was the last time I was irritated or annoyed? When was the last time I felt deep grief? When was the last time I felt abandoned or rejected? Those are all dark, negative emotions that need your attention. They're little children kicking, screaming, and they need you to give them a drink of water. They need you to refill their cereal bowl. But they need you to do it without you completely coming apart at the seams. You need to disconnect from those things are you. They're not. You are light and love, period. We can't undo it. We cannot participate in it, but we can't undo it, because when you're ready to be the light and love that you were meant to be, you'll get right back there. It's not that far away. It's pretty easy to obtain. Okay? So, I hope that you were able to hear some things about how to bring more ease into your life, how to set yourself emotionally free. It will be the first and the last thing you ever do that will become your favorite part of your journey and your transformation from that person that used to worry and have emotional chaos all the time to the person who is at peace and ease and in the harmonic flow of life. Thanks for listening. Have an amazing day, and I will talk to you next time. Thanks for listening. I invite you to leave your feedback and share your aha moments as you listen to this podcast. Also, you can access more information or any of the programs, courses, or worksheets that I've mentioned on these episodes on my website at teresaford.life. Or what I would really love is for you to connect with me on Instagram at teresaford.coaching and on Facebook at Coaching with Teresa Ford, so I can give you more interesting insights and further coaching to help you fulfill the measure of your creation.